Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Job Shop USA. My name is Keith, and we're here in my shop today. About 2 months ago, the WAZER team contacted me and told me about their new WAZER Pro. Gave me a few of the stats and particulars of the machine differences and offered me a trade-in. And I decided to take that trade-in after the next day or so. I gave it some thought and did my personal investigation on it. So I worked out a deal with them, which I got X amount off for trading in my machine, and I'm doing a couple videos. They wanted a review video and a project video for a discount. And then I got out my checkbook and I still wrote a nice big check and sealed the deal for trading up from my desktop to the Pro model. Week and a half ago, the crate shows up here. I get it unloaded. I get my desktop cleaned up in the crate, and it's on its way back there. I put the Pro right here. I've got it leveled, but I haven't hooked it up or done anything yet. I've been waiting for work to get light enough for me to go ahead and assemble it and start going. Now, as far as a video going here, I'm not keen on reviews, but I'm going to say, let's make a video. What did Keith gain by going from desktop to Pro? All right. So let's see what I'm getting out of this. Okay, let's go. All right, let's pull the cover off of this bad boy. Right off the bat, you can see that it's a little bit taller machine than the desktop. The desktop was about like this. I remember like almost leaning on it. It was comparable to being about the height of the label here on the fire extinguisher. Okay, one of the very first things that I noticed, benefits, modifications, changes to this machine, was it had a set of leveling adjusters on the bottom of this feet, down here at the bottom, underneath here, there and there. There's like thumb screw, knurled thumb screw type of surface on it. So by setting it up in this location, of course, I'm a little bit, they say 2 feet all the way around the machine. I'm a little bit tight on the back, and I may change that, but I'm aware that that is my choice. When I assembled the desktop unit in here and the team at WAZER saw my mounting and everything else. Remember, I used to have this mounted off of the beam over here because you had to stable the desktop model. This now is a heavy enough machine where it can stand on its own and it doesn't have any chance of bumping it. Now, it wasn't that it moved around much, but when your machine is in operation, you can't bump it because you're going to create that reaction into the cut of your part. Same thing with my plasma cutter or the engraver or any of your CNC machines. All right. So by not having to hold this machine up, I was able to put it in this position, and now I can gain full walk around with my lift. So now I actually have more freedom in my shop, and the adjusters on the bottom of the machine prove to be a great gain for me here in the shop. All right. I just wanted to touch on that part there. Okay, they have me open up these panels because I have to do inspections as per their video instructions. And I do have to say that they have some pretty good video instructions, just like the plasma cam from their company has got a very good video library of tutorials and also inspections and how-tos. All right. Now, I pulled these panels off of here, and the first thing I noticed is this was my filter over here on the wall for the desktop and my lead coming in for the desktop here. And everything is self-contained in here. So your filter, water filter for your supply is all built into here. The drain tube is just tucked up underneath there. There's another line right here, and this actually comes from the sump or the water uh, container for the machine, and it is quite low. This is a real deep water um, area. Instead of being a flat bottom trough there, this is almost cone shaped. So those are the two notice differences right here. But look at the size of that pump. That's putting out 8,000 psi's versus the 4,000 psi the desktop model puts out. All right, I'm done doing my inspections here, and I got to go on to the next step. We're asked to pull off the side, check our electrical connections there. That threaded thing was just a little bit loose there, but I can look down in here, and the pump fluid is showing its proper level in there. And now they're giving us the option to go ahead and put a work tray on the outside of this. And I rounded up a few fasteners here, and it goes in there like this. It has a bolt or a stud sticking out, and then it has a, there's that one. I can reach in here and put one of those nuts on there. Okay, and on this side here, let's make sure that I can feel in here and make sure that this is there we go. Okay, hand myself the nut. This nut here is kind of slightly behind a little line in there, so I've got it on there already. Okay, and then 2 screws. Now this tray sticks out a little bit here, but not too bad. I think the benefits of having the tray are going to outweigh not having the tray here, because it's another flat spot. uh, okay, I had to laugh because the video showed somebody holding this up while the other person put the fasteners in. Okay, we're going to get this tightened up, and then we'll get this closed up here. Because I put that tray on there, I wanted to make sure that my door shut over here. So I scoot the machine over a little bit and re-leveled it. I also gave just a little bit more generous room on the back than I had. Okay, I can reach my water ports and everything else is fine. All right, now we're supposed to plug it in and check for electrical. And I already had that panel off. And of course our breaker's underneath there. And I believe the breaker's tripped already. So we'll plug this in. And we have our lights on our WAZER computer here. So I think we're good to go. I'm not gonna have to worry about the breaker down here. And we know we got lights there, so we're secure there. All right, now we're gonna hook up the water. I'm putting water in it now. You don't see any running out, do you? Two things I've noticed about the material hopper, which is holding the garnet that mixes with the water that makes the cut. One, the container's slightly bigger, and they have these lids now where the mesh is sunk down a little bit, dished out, and it's easier to pour. You can pour faster, and less material is coming over the outside edge there with my method anyway. Everybody has their own method, but I find just getting one of these paint measuring cups, real clean. You can dip it right out of the buckets. Okay, and that hopper's full. I've already tested the flow, free flow out the bottom. That's all good. There's two more additional pluses that the other machine didn't have. Remember, I used to take my siphon and I used to rinse all down, and now they actually have a wash assembled in here, and you can wash the thing down, and it actually has a place to actually put it on the front here. So that's pretty cool. The other thing that I found out with this and watching the setup videos is it has a switch over there underneath the brain box, and you can switch it one way and it'll cut above the material, and then if you want a submerged cut, you flip the switch and you can cut in a submerged atmosphere. And I think cutting in a submerged atmosphere, you can have less blowback and everything else. Just testing the high pressure nozzle here just already gave a little spray on the inside here. I think I wanted to wipe this down, and I wanted to try a little ceramic coating on the inside just to see if it doesn't sheen the water faster, keep it clear and clean. Before I get going and cutting, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to personally give ceramic coating underneath here a good shot. I did the inside, now I'm kind of doing the outside. Just a quick mist with ceramic spray. If it helps shed the water a little bit, helps keep the grime off the outside. All right, I set the height of the material. The machine came with this installed, and this is kind of exciting because just knowing a few things that they have done by observing the top of a virgin support platform here. Of course, I see this aluminum here. So this aluminum is in here for a couple different reasons. I took their SD card and took the files and glanced on what the G code in the file looks like in an outline, and I kind of planned So I'm going to go for the guide, which this aluminum here will be cut for a repetitive guide so I can continuously put something on here. Also, we have 2 adjustment nuts here. Make sure that one's tight there. Same thing over here. So this could go over here on this side as well. It's going to be a bar with a couple scalloped holes in it. And I chose to, they have a nozzle guide. I don't know what it actually does or its function, but I figured that it would be part of it. So it'll come over, it'll cut that, and then it'll come over here and it'll cut the the other thing here, because I've gone through its dry run already and kind of planned it out. I've already done the purging. I've done everything on this thing ready to go ahead and test this. So I'm ready to start, and I'm going to engage. I'm going to let this go through and cut the very first part in on this machine. I also noticed that the adjustments, because I did a pre-adjustment, checked the leveling of this, because after I leveled the machine, the water is also a leveling. It's a given. Water finds its own level, so you can use the water level in the tank to also look at visually to see how, if you're really off on the table. But I went ahead and I took and I checked what I could all the way across here, making sure that it is level. I did a little bit of a tweaking and adjusting, so I know that it's ready to go. But I noticed that the adjustment screws to take this in and out and adjust it now are up above at your surface there, versus the adjustments were down along the side, and you had to really search for them with your Allen wrench to adjust it or remove the support. All right, so those are a couple things that I noticed, that the improvements of the adjustment screws, the added in for jigging. We got this plate, plus there's another plate that's full on here, and I only presume that you're able to cut out your own type of jigging in the future, or you could do something else as far as toe clamping with other type of screws or some things like that. I'll learn as I'm going. Um, Anyhow, I'm ready to go on this here now. All right, it's at the home location, and also too, we're going to get a chance to see what the ceramic coating does on here. Here we go. And there, it's already through that. I don't have my camera mount inside yet, so we can't look inside the unit. All right, so we're gonna let that run. We'll come back. Well, when that pump unwinds it. All right, and let's see what we got. And here we go. We get to use our wash down hose for the first time here. What a plus there. For some reason, just the design of this top here actually is a little bit better, because I think the rinsing down, even my hand pump that I used to use, that's a pleasure. Of course, we have more water in here, so because this is adding more, because the wash down is a separate system here. So I'm going to go ahead and run the water level system now. I found that we actually have a dump valve control on our switch there, so I cycled it a couple times and I got the water to go down. So I'm going to be looking into some of the newer features that this thing has that I haven't quite become accustomed to yet. And we're ready to go ahead and pull our piece out here. And this little small piece right here got a little W in there, and it's got a little radius shape. That radius shape actually might be conducive to the nozzle skirt there or something like that. I don't know what the purpose of it is yet. That was quite a bit of space right there to have a easy breakout. There we go. All right, and this is a good piece of material here. You can see the notches all the way along here. So this and this here now could be a repetitive location for parts to be cut in here and do a repetitive program part after part after part. This material is 3/16 of an inch thick aluminum. This is new to the Pro model versus the desktop because they have these location holes here where these help locate on the adjusters. The support itself mounts down with these four they're spring load studs, and those are the nuts, and that's how you level out your bed. Then these pins, these threaded pins here, have just regular thumb nuts or whatever you want to call them on here to hold this down, and then you can add in another screw. This corner guide or jig setup guide can be 4 positions. You could take it like this, you can put it over here so it's there. You can flip it upside down, then you can come from that corner, or flip it and come from this corner. So this can be used 4 different ways on this bed. And this is going to be a benefit. And I like it. And it was fun to have that as my first cut. And that was a file that they gave me with the machine. Besides that plate they mounted on the machine and had it set up in there when I got the machine, they also included a full plate. And you can see that this has the 2 openings here on both sides and the 4 studs. So this can go over the all 8 of those pins tightened down. This gives you an aluminum plate to make a jig of whatever you dream up. All right. I can't wait to put this to some play. You can also drill and tap this on the mill or whatever and create other fastener hold downs to jig up material, because we're going to be able to cut up to 1 inch thick aluminum in this machine now. Because while that was cutting, I was going through my accessory box and I saw in there a set of low pressure filters. These are the filters that grab the water from your tank and recirculate it for its purposes. And at first I go, oh, were those on? Are those in there? They had a set in there. I did look after it was done cutting. But when I picked these up, I picked up 2 at one time, even though I grabbed 1. They're magnetic. My first thing that went to my head was thank you, because they have, or they're heading towards fixing a problem that I had on the desktop and many others had on the desktop. And that was water that was recirculating through was letting the smallest, minute parts of steel go through and stick to the impeller and the housing of the magnetic pumps that they use in the machine. And it would slow down and even stop the pumps after a certain amount of material was collected on there. So now that they have magnets in the screens, the material is going to be collected here and not down in the pumps. This is a pro idea. I like it. These are going to go in. I'm going to install those in there today, just because you never know when you're going to throw a piece of steel on there, whether it be plastic, glass, cork, aluminum, stainless, and or steel. You're going to flip your materials around, and you're not going to actually think. So I'm going to be testing these out right away. This is a big plus. And on top of everything, they included the new 150 kg WAZER skateboard. So I assembled a little cart there they throw in there so that you can put your material, or you can probably even fit 2 pieces on there. The material gets heavy, and it's a lot easier if you can just roll it around. Here I got a pretty good slope in the shop, so I'm not sure if the material is going to run away. All right, so with my material here on the cart, I can open up this, remove the lid, scoop out my material, pour what I need in here, close it up, good to go. All right, so let's conclude with what did Keith really get by switching from the desktop to the Pro model. You got the adjusting feet or pads at the bottom, easy leveling. Even after I put the water in and I was kind of comparing it with the table, and then I went ahead and adjusted and leveled the bed to the rail, and I even made a few other adjustments with that as well, because I know water finds its true level, and I was using the upper bars there, which is good to get the rough level. She's all set, but those are a big help, make it happen real fast. With the self-contained design, you only have 3 things that you're really hooking up to the machine: the inlet, the outlet, and the power. Everything else is built in. You got easy access on all the sides to get to it. The machine is double the pressure. And with the machine double the pressure, the hopper, I don't know if they increased the hopper size, but even if it's the same hopper size, it actually increased your material, because with the double the pressure, the same amount of material cutting faster goes farther. That's the same thing as having a bigger hopper in there. The designs on the screens were also another improvement, and the speed that I'm able to pour it in with having less spillage or sprinkle out of the zone there. The wash down hose. So the wash down hose used to be me hand pumping a siphon, and it did the job. It is a luxury tool. So I'm kind of glad on the wash down. The pressure gauge, the high pressure gauge here now is basically on the front of the machine, and you don't have to really get down and look. The other one was on the side of the auxiliary pump, and it was down underneath the machine, and the gauge itself was down and underneath, but also, it was another foot lower, center line of the gauge, their location. The tank design on this is deeper tank, and it's a V, and you have almost 100% material collecting out of this design of tank versus the flat bottom tank. Okay, your material support. We just talked about that last on the adjusters and mounting for the bed are right on the top, and also keyed in and tied in with locations for creating jigs. That's a plus. I didn't have that, and you used to have to go down through. Oh, you had to go down at least 4 or 5 inches and try to hit the screw underwater to remove your bed. The tank also has a drain on it, and the other tank you had to scoop out. Material location for jigs. The magnetic filters. That's a plus. And the side tray and the skateboard. All right. Material dolly. Just opening and setting this up and running, I went through and found those improvements. Now, there's probably going to be a few others that's going to take a little while to find out, that it's something better than I had in the desktop. But those are the ones that I see right off the bat. And I'm glad that I shared those with you, because there's always questions on why did you do this or that in your shop. And I am looking forward to cutting what I already cut faster, less material, but I'm also interested in cutting thicker aluminum and also being able to get up to 3/8 stainless steel. Those are parts that I'm looking forward to cutting out, and you're going to see those here. All right. Now, right now, I'm probably going to be setting up, and we're going to be taking and cutting out some suspension links for one of my customers with a motorcycle. Now, these are like dog bone links, and they got to have a certain center to center and shape. And they're going to be 5/16 of an inch thick steel. And I'm going to be cutting those out. I also create a Cummins exhaust flange. Now, let me grab one. I got one up here that these are 3/8 thick stainless steel. This is a stock one that I plasma cut off of an exhaust, and I have it as a sample. This is one that I cut on my plasma cutter, and even though it's plasma cut and it's kind of, it's got the general shape, I still have to come in and rotary burr and smooth out these surfaces right here. So my test is going to be that this WAZER will cut me a finished product that won't need to be machined. All right, until that time, thanks for stopping in. Job Shop USA. My name's Keith. Get her done.